perfectly captures Sneakers the cat's first trip to the seashore. Sneakers' curious paws find cold water, playful shrimp, and a shell that echoes the roar of the ocean. The title of today's story, Sneakers, the Seaside Cat, by Margaret Wise Brown. Illustrated by Anne Mortimer. Once there was a little fat cat, and his name was Sneakers. He had 4 white paws, and almost all the rest of him was inky black. He lived with a little boy and his father and his mother. One day the little boy and his father and his mother went to the seashore. When Sneakers came to the sea, he was delighted. He could smell the fish. He thought he could catch them like mice. But when he dipped his careful little white paw into the blue sea, the water was wet. And it was cold. So Sneakers decided to go out in a field and look for mice instead. The field was full of butterflies, so Sneakers chased one. But the sea was bothering him. All around him he could smell it, beyond the smell of the pine trees. And he could feel it. It excited him. And way off he could still hear it. Boom, boom, boom. Sneakers did not know that boom, boom, boom was the sea pounding the rocks way offshore, out on the ledges of the sea. Then he heard, ha, 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 scree, scree. He wondered what it was. First it was a shadow. Then it was a bird. Only it was such a big bird, it didn't seem very frightened of a little black cat with white paws. Sneakers didn't like to think about birds who are not afraid of cats, so he went for a walk on the beach. And this is what the crab did. The crab shot out one of its long bent legs and grabbed a hold of Sneakers' little white paw in its crab claw. It hung on and pinched Sneakers a little. Sneakers didn't like that at all. He snatched his paw back so fast that the crab fell off. Then he licked his paw and ruffled out his fur and walked on down the beach. Something was happening in the air. The air was wetter and heavier. Sneakers could feel it on his tender little nose. And when he looked around, there were great white puffs of smoke blowing in from the sea. They smelled of the sea and came drifting in puffs as big as clouds, until you couldn't see the sun anymore. Everything was gray, and the land beyond was all dim and dark like one big shape. My, I'm glad I saw that, thought Sneakers. In the morning it was still foggy. Down in the depths of the sea, the fish swam slowly, and the starfish pointed their spiky arms. Lobsters crawled into lobster pots, and sea urchins clung to the rocks. Then the sun came out of the gray and drove the fog away. It was low tide, and all around was seaweed. Then Sneakers heard a little sound. It was like creaky breathing. It was the seaweed popping. My, I'm glad I heard that, said Sneakers. And he sat and warmed himself in the sunlight and watched the light on the waves. The next day, Sneakers and his family left the seashore. All the way home in the car, Sneakers thought soft little cat thoughts about the sea. Deep in the fog a sea-slung gong sleepily rocks to its ding-dong-dong. Hark to the sound of the sea-slung gong, ding-dong-dong, ding-dong-dong. Thank you, children. I hope you liked the story. And if you like this story, please subscribe to our channel. Aunt Diana reads to us.